What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Toke&Trans podcast with your boys, Aaron and Bo. Aaron, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, I just had a baby. So that's been really fun. I'm a dad now. She's about 4 weeks old, so we are getting adjusted to the dad life over here, and it's going really, really well. We're sleepy, but we're slowly getting a really nice routine, and I'm excited about it.
That's amazing. I can't wait for the episode we're going to be making about being a freaking dad, I guess.
Dad life. That would be so interesting. There's been a few experiences that were specifically interesting for me as a trans person when I was like even during I haven't sat down and done our birth story yet, but a few times where I was like, does this person know I'm trans, or are they just randomly bringing this out to me because this is not the time? There were so many experiences. I was just like, this is got to be on the file somewhere or some shit. But no, we had we were super thankful that she was healthy and happy, and we're doing super well.
She's the cutest thing on the face of this goddamn earth. I love her so much.
My gosh, she makes me melt. Yes, I've been posting pretty much nothing but her. I'm like, hope everyone's not just totally sick of this, because I don't know what else to post. I'm just not inspired for nothing else but just dad content and the baby, and I don't know. That's just being a trans dad. I'm exploring a whole new world over here.
Yeah, I literally see your Instagram story, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, more Lila. That's what I'm expecting to see. And it's as soon as I wake up in the morning, when I check all my socials and everything, that's one of the things I'm like, officially Aaron C, let me go check how Lila is. That's what I've been doing, dude.
I love that so much. I love that. And she loves her Uncle Bo. How has things been going on over there? First of all, love the haircut. Can we see a 360 for the hair? My God.
Okay, here's a 360.
To describe it for the people that aren't watching the video, we've got spiral pink, spirals on his head. How do you describe it? How do you describe this if you're not looking?
So I have a buzz cut. I lightened it and then did a light bubblegum pink base, and then a dark magenta went in with a bunch of little swirls all over.
Yes. Did you use a sponge or something, or did you draw those?
I used a paintbrush.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I thought you would use a stencil or something. It looks so good.
Oh no. And it's really hard to have a setup of two mirrors. You're holding a mirror behind your head so you can see what you're doing. And it's the direction that you're going is opposite with your hand.
You should have had Tim hey babe, could you do a spiral in the back?
Baby, I did this at 2 a.m. Tim was asleep.
Tim was asleep. Tim woke up and said, wow, baby, you looking fine.
Literally, he texted me when he got up this morning, and he was like, oh, baby, nice hair. Because I was sleeping. He didn't see it until he woke up.
That is precious. I love you two so much. Dude, I love that. It's been a minute since we did our episode, so I wanted to check in and I don't know, let you guys know what we've been up to a little bit. But today we're taking on a pretty interesting topic, a little polarizing for us, but it's something that we believe in and something that we're passionate about. And I feel like we've got some pretty interesting perspectives, and I always learn something from these episodes, especially these episodes. I'm all the time asking Bo vocab and Bo, what is this? What are you feeling about this? So I love shooting the shit with Bo about these things. So today we are talking about, do you need dysphoria to be trans? That's the question we're answering today. Is do you need it to be trans? And Bo, what first thoughts, right? When I say that question, what's the very first thing you think of, right? You think of...
I think no.
I think no. Yeah.
No, you absolutely don't need dysphoria to be trans. We know this. But we're going to be explaining why. And
yeah, diving in.
I do want to mention up top that I have been known as a trans-medicalist in the past. This is not something I'm proud of.
And that means...
trans-medicalists are those who believe that the long and short of it, believe that one needs dysphoria in order to be trans.
Right.
The long of it is that trans-medicalists medicalize transness. They believe it is a medical condition that one can be diagnosed with, and that a symptom of having transgenderism, or however you want to say it, being diagnosed as trans,
Right.
a symptom of that is dysphoria. And the treatment for that dysphoria is transition, is HRT, is surgery.
Right. Which is the answer for some people, but not all people.
Right.
And that's the key, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay,
Like you and I talked about it before, how I don't have bottom dysphoria.
Right.
And you do.
Yeah, I do.
So that's not something like.
Yeah. That doesn't make
even
you
though you
not a
also
trans
said
guy.
Right. Even though you also said that you would bottom surgery isn't where you want it to be right now for you to be considering it more seriously. It is something that you would hope to be in your future, and it's not something I hope to be in my future.
Right. Yeah, so I at least hope to just conquer, or, be better at managing it at the very least, for sure. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that like you have to experience bottom dysphoria to be trans. You have to experience top dysphoria, like you experience top dysphoria, but not bottom dysphoria.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
See, trans-medicalists might claim that I'm not truly trans because I do not desire the final gender reassignment surgery.
Right.
And some might even go so far as to say that those that wear makeup and like look like me are not truly trans, or there's a term that had been thrown around, transgenders.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that as well. And I've always
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, let's let's dive into it.
So, trans-medicalists. The opposite of trans-medicalists is like they don't like, we're just whatever, right?
Yeah.
But there's also like slang. There's slang terms. So like the slang for a trans-medicalist you might have seen somewhere on the internet is called a true scum.
Right. I've heard that word.
Which is short for true trans scum. These are the people that think that you need dysphoria to be trans. They gatekeep transness, and you
have to be A, B, and C to be trans, and if you're not, you're something like fuck off.
Right. If you're a trans man, why are you wearing a bra and a dress and makeup? If you're a trans man, why are you why are you posting pictures of yourself shirtless wearing a binder or something? Real trans men aren't so comfortable. If you're a trans man, why are you wearing so much pink? Why aren't you making it your entire life to try to pass?
To be blue.
Yeah. It's so backwards. Like they want. And I think, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to diagnose anybody with anything, but using my critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
From what it comes down to for me is that the misery loves company.
Yeah.
I think that some people are so unhappy that they are trans that other people experiencing joy in their transness and being open-minded and experiencing different things and just like enjoying the journey makes them so furious.
I've never thought of it. Yeah.
They have to tell themselves that you are not the same as them. Yeah. Because if you were, why aren't they happy?
Yeah. That makes no sense. You would either need to be as miserable as them, or they should be as happy as you. Even if you're not in your final form, you're just trying to be more positive and expressing more positive. And I think it's a big difference. Like, I feel like definitionally.
You
feel what I'm saying? That like gender identity and gender expression are two different things. So like who you are as a person on the inside, how you feel, that is one. That's one thing. And then how you like to express yourself and what makes you feel like, hell yeah, I'm looking fine as hell today. Whatever that is, that's your expression. And those two things do not have to be like in the same. You know what I mean? They don't always have to line up to be like similar.
Right. That's why we have drag artists.
Right. Yeah.
It's not every drag performer is trans.
Yeah.
it's a great community for trans people
Sure.
and
Safe.
to
Yeah.
like start their gender expression and stuff for like if you want to be performative about it, baby, do it. But like I feel like the majority of drag is cis,
Yeah.
and or at least the majority of like popular drag. Like
Mhm.
I'm thinking like a la RuPaul's Drag Race.
Right.
You know,
Right.
the
Yeah.
drag that everybody sees all the time in their face
Yeah.
is mostly cis drag.
Hmm.
So I feel like just the fact that drag exists is enough to like be an argument against trans-medicalism, you know, because it's like
Right.
why are these stipulations only applied to the trans community in this way? Like why is it that a cis man is still a cis man even in drag? You know, why can you understand that but you can't understand a trans man
Right.
in drag?
Yeah. I think, and I feel like maybe like I feel like people expect people to be one way, and like I feel like cis people like when someone's not cis, it's jarring, right? So then like, even like for me, I've had that experience where I felt like when they met me, they were like, oh my god, like okay, like it's one of those, right? And then like it gets like it's so jarring to them, but then and so they're like, okay, so that's what that is, right? So that's trans, okay. So then when they see someone who's doesn't exactly line up with how they express or how they dress or how they act or how they talk, then automatically that can't be trans. Like
Right.
that you can't be trans because that's like it's a lot of. I just feel like it's stereotyping. Like
Right.
they're grouping, and because it may be alarming to them, or like they maybe they've never seen a person in a beard wearing a dress with makeup, they immediately go to a place of like negativity or like I don't know, they just instantly get
Mental
hateful.
illness.
I just feel like the hateful is the first thing that they go to instead of like, oh, what a different experience. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it could be way more simple than that. But I think that the societal expectations, right, the cultural norms that they expect to see when those are exploded, they don't respond. Like people don't always respond kindly, like the way that you would teach kindergartners to respond to people who are different.
Right. Well, I read something that said like your confirmation bias is what people like search for, and that's like confirmation bias is like what you already believe you want to be confirmed.
Right. Yeah.
So people look for things that tell them what they believe is correct. They don't like their beliefs contradicted in any way. So
Right.
if they believe already, if they were raised by this family that, you know, maybe they weren't raised to be a critical thinker. I think this new generation's got it going on. But you know, like they got brainwashed by their family or whatever that this is how a man is, this is how a woman is, and
Sure.
you know, trans people aren't real or whatever. They experience trans people and their beliefs are, you know, shook, and they don't want to experience that, so they double down. And you know, that's one way to go. Like I said, I used to be a trans-medicalist.
Yeah. So what was your thought process when you first thought of that? What made you think, this makes the most sense
Well,
at first?
I experienced dysphoria,
Right.
and um it was that this is what I'm experiencing. I'm trans, so trans people must experience this. That
Right.
was my thought process.
Right.
And I also was following people who agreed with that and like who would spread that information, you know.
Sure. Your feed gets full of those things.
Yeah.
No
So it
matter
was
which
just
way.
one big echo chamber. Yeah. And at the time, gender dysphoria was in the DSM-5 categorized as a mental illness. It is not any longer.
And what is the DSM-5? For the people that don't know.
The DSM-5, I think it's a DSM. It's a different number now.
Okay.
The number changes as it gets updated.
But it's
the diagnostic statistic for medicine or something like that. It's
a list of
a resource list of diagnostic material.
Okay, I see.
Like things you can be diagnosed with.
Okay.
Mental illnesses and stuff.
Okay, so it was on there.
Yes. Gender dysphoria was on the DSM-5 as a mental illness that you can be diagnosed with.
Right.
That's why previously sometimes you needed a documented diagnosis of gender dysphoria in order to get top surgery or hormone replacement therapy. It's not like that anymore, I don't think.
Well, I don't know. I think it's still that way here.
Well, I think you need a like a confirmation from a gender therapist, but it doesn't need to be a diagnosis of gender dysphoria.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I think that's right there. That kind of seems almost a little confusing at first, because like if you look at my chart says I'm diagnosed with gender dysphoria, right? So you see diagnosed. You see Oh yeah, I see. So you see diagnosed, and you think automatically that it's a medical. It's an illness.
Right. Exactly. So it's not that I thought that being trans was an illness, but like the gender dysphoria did feel like a mental illness. Like I felt, I don't know,
mentally things didn't line up.
Right. Right. Mentally things didn't line up. I felt a disconnect between parts of my body. I would look in the mirror and become enraged. You know, it comes with some self-harm ideation sometimes, I feel like.
Sure.
So it felt like, okay. And also, I'm not a scientist. Who am I to say that, the DSM-5 is incorrect or something?
Right.
I normally, go with what the professionals say. And
what changed?
What changed? I had trans friends, and they helped me get educated. My friend Mark is a bit older than me, and had fully transitioned. He had bottom surgery. He was kind enough to answer all my questions about it, and he like combated my thought process about dysphoria when he said, okay, I'm trans and I don't have dysphoria at all. Because he's been on T for like decades. He had top surgery. He had bottom surgery. He had his name's documents changed. He passes completely 100%. He no longer has dysphoria. So is he not trans?
I see.
And
But wouldn't you say that is?
I kicked back and I was like, well, you don't have dysphoria because you experienced the treatment required.
Right. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But I mean, so by definition, what I was saying when I was saying that you need dysphoria in order to be trans.
Right.
By saying that, I'm saying that he is not trans because he no longer experiences dysphoria. So like, right. Cause that doesn't make any sense when you think about it. Like the treatment for gender dysphoria is transition. So,
right.
And it's not like transition makes you cis. You're not cis.
Yeah, you're not. It doesn't just yeah.
Right. You don't become cis by transition, so it's not eliminating transness.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
That does make sense, because for me, like I experience a lot of like, I'm on T. I've been on T for 6 years. I've had top surgery now. I pass all of these things, and I'm on like, I am diagnosed with the gender dysphoria on paper or whatever, and I can still, but I still get dysphoric. I still get triggered in situations, even though they might not even know that I was trans. You know what I mean? So for me, I still do, even though I transitioned, and for them, they don't now that they transitioned. Right? Is that would be the
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, like when, if you have depression,
Yeah.
that's a medical condition you can be diagnosed with. The treatment for depression, antidepressants. You get put on antidepressants to treat your depression, but you still have depression.
Right.
You stop taking those antidepressants.
You just don't experience those symptoms anymore.
Right. Exactly. So you're still trans.
All right, we're here. We're smoking. We're high. We're here. We're breaking it down.
Sometimes I forget that we're high.
Dude, and then you're like, that's why this is so hard to keep my.
Why am I? Yes.
I know. Do you guys, please comment below. Do you guys forget that we're stoned in this sometimes? Because sometimes we do.
Do I sound like an idiot right now, or do I sound like
think
really
so.
smart?
No. I think we're having some good some good thoughts here, and I'm we're just honestly having a conversation, and breaking it down. But like the point is, I think it comes down to just like gatekeeping. Like that was the big thing for me. Like before I was even very educated about the topic and like any stats or anything. For me, it was just hard for me, like because I would have family members that asked me this, do you like, what do you think? Like, because they, and then they're really listening because, sometimes they think that we're representing multiple people, or everyone. So I have to check them. But I had to say, like at the end of the day, I can't look you in the eyes and say, you are not trans if I'm not in your body. Yeah. And you can't do that to me.
Right.
And so that was the thing that immediately for me, that was like, that's good. That's good enough for me. Without even me knowing half the vocab that is out there.
Aaron, you are a better man than me. Because I really, I'm not proud. I'm being vulnerable.
No, I appreciate that. This is safe space
for the people.
For the people.
I gatekept. I was a gatekeeper. I girl boss gatekeep. Gaslight. I
appreciate the honesty, dude. Because that's the point, is like you can learn these things and your opinions may change based on the information.
And that's why I said what I said about people, misery loves company and shit, because bitch, that was me. That was fucking me.
You knew that.
I'm telling you. Remember when we talked about it before. The beginning of my transition, I was like hyper masculine. Like mass, button ups, fucking button ups.
Snapbacks only. Didn't you say snapbacks only?
Snapbacks only.
Yeah. Like, but not because it was like a rule for you though, right? It wasn't just because like you enjoy snapbacks or whatever. It was like, I have to wear it, right?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
And I didn't like the clothes I was wearing. It was just, these are men's clothes. I am a man. I wear men's clothes.
I need people to listen to me.
I shop in the women's section because you cannot get cute pants anywhere.
But I believe that. There's not. Yeah, you need that.
Yeah. So, wait. What was I talking about just now? Oh fuck! Literally, what was I just saying? Wait.
You had to wear the clothes. You had to wear the masculine pants.
Yeah. So I would see. Thank you, bro. I would see trans men on like Instagram and stuff wearing like not binding, wearing skirts and shit, wearing cute little outfits and cosplaying cute little characters and having like pink everything.
Yeah.
And that's what I want.
Right.
I want to be able to do what you're doing, and I am not comfortable enough to do it. I can't walk out of the house unbound without wanting to rip my skin off or not be seen by anybody. Like that is not something I'm able to do, and you can do it, and you identify the same as me. And
Yeah.
that's not fair.
That's bullshit.
And I want to have two things.
Because that sucks for me.
Yeah, it sucks for me that I have to wear button-ups and khakis and you get to wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's not fair. And that's what was going through my head. And
because you wanted to be
that's why I acted
respected
out on it.
with your pronouns and right.
Right,
Is that what
exactly.
you're saying?
Exactly, yes. I am fighting tooth and nail to get the people at work just to call me he.
Yeah.
And you, how dare you not give a fuck? How dare you?
Yeah. How?
Be free in your expression, independent of how people perceive you. How dare you? You
that
know? Like,
and that's what made you think you're not the same as me. You can't be the same as me. Yeah.
Right, because I'm thinking if you felt what I felt, you wouldn't be wearing that. If you felt any way that I did, if you had the dysphoria that I do, you wouldn't be wearing that. And I thought that
well,
meant
it's easy to
dysphoria.
compare.
What?
It's easy to compare. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and comparison is the death of joy.
Yeah, I believe that.
I forget who said that, but it's very true in art, in life, like in success.
Yeah.
Please do not compare yourself to another single person. You will be nothing but disappointed and unhappy.
Every time, no matter who it is.
To you.
Yeah, no, I feel that, dog. I feel that.
So it was I wasn't a good person about that. I had a lot of cis friends who disagreed with me with the whole, trans med bullshit, but would not butt heads with me about it because
wouldn't say come out.
Trans,
yeah,
right, which was a good move for them, because if I'm being honest, if I was approached by a cis person that said anything about being trans,
right,
we probably wouldn't have been friends anymore.
Right.
And so like, and then when I finally made the realization and called myself out on, and I do yearly on Facebook when I get the memories of me saying you have to have dysphoria, I share it and I'm like, well, we grow.
Dude, that's so important. And that's important that you share that instead of just being like, oh my God, I hope no one remembers me saying that. Oh my God, that would be so embarrassing. Because it's the whole point of like, you can shift your ideas to be a different way based on I'm the same thing. I like based on the information that you're learning.
Yeah. The important thing is you got to be open to fucking learn, dude. Like, it's that shit when you shut your brain off from literally everyone telling you that you need to reconsider what your beliefs are.
Black and white.
But that's when, you're solidifying it in your own brain. Like, neural pathways are totally able to be formed. Like new neural pathways are totally able to be formed. I've seen a 98-year-old grandma correct herself because she in her words, oh no, I assumed your pronouns. My granddaughter is teaching me not to do that and that I should say they. And I was like, oh my God. If a 98-year-old woman can do that to a retail worker,
I mean, seriously.
Then you trans meds can learn that you're not correct.
It can be possible. It can be possible.
It can be totally possible.
And
if you're like me and you feel seen by what I said about it not being fair that other people felt comfortable to express themselves, and just think how happy you could be if you just let go. Let go of the expectations that you have set for yourself and whatever your gender has to look like, and just do what you want. Forget anybody else. You could try. It really doesn't matter how hard you try. People are going to perceive you however they're going to perceive you. If they believe that you're a man, they're going to believe that you're a man regardless of what you're doing, wearing, or look like.
Yeah. 1,000%.
And vice versa. And if they're not sure, they're always not going to be sure. And that's just how it is. You should not base your happiness on how other people perceive you. And if I could go back in time, that is the one thing I would go back and tell little Beau.
Yeah.
Please do
I feel
not
that.
base your happiness on how other people are going to perceive you. It's going to steal so much joy and time from your life.
Yeah.
I wish I could have gone back to the button-up era and been like, just wear the cute little crop top. You're
Yeah.
going to gain weight and you're not going to feel comfortable to wear it anymore. And I
Yeah.
really wish you would just wear it.
Yeah, dude, that was a main thing for me transitioning as well. It was like at the end of the day, it was like, do I want to tell people about this or do I want to keep this a secret? Is this something that I'm going to manage on my own and literally tell no one, or am I going to have to express this? Am I going to be able to swallow this much longer? How much longer can I swallow this and keep this to myself before? And I came down to the conclusion that it's like they are not in my shoes. If they had to live in my body and feel this, they would explode. You know what I mean? Like they would be overwhelmed with the feelings and the emotions that I'm managing like this, especially before I was able to transition and ease those things a little bit. So I just feel like that's so important to remember, like whether you believe that you do need dysphoria to be trans or you don't believe that, you have to understand that you cannot tell someone else what they feel in their body, whether that is dysphoria or whether that's not dysphoria, because you're not in there. You're not in this shell with this, dealt this hand. And I just feel like that's what it comes down to, is empathy for other people.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it really does all come down to empathy. Even if you are trans med, that's exactly right. Like you may think that this person doesn't have dysphoria. Even if they don't, who gives a fuck? Like, who gives a fuck?
Right.
Look at the statistics.
Are you affected by them saying that they don't or that they do? At the end of the day, it's not going to change your life. You're not going to change your shoes.
It's not pie. Them, they them going on testosterone isn't less testosterone for you.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't change your identity.
Don't worry.
That's their identity.
Yeah, exactly.
Not yours to worry about.
There was also this idea in the trans med community that they're taking resources from actual trans people, and that's just not. It's just not true.
That would have to be like factually, statistically, like there's a shortage of blah blah, like that. Yeah. There's nothing like that. That's just that sounds like fear. You know what I mean? That sounds like an internal situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, and I do want to open the conversation below. Like, we always foster like an environment for safe, like real conversation. Like, we don't want obviously negativity, like name calling, any kind of like those types of things. But like, I do want to be able to have a conversation. If you think you can keep your emotions in check and have a nice conversation below, then like definitely please do. If you feel what we felt and have questions, like we'll monitor those comments and check them out, because we want to know what you guys are thinking too. And I want to help you, help us, help the world make a better place.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, dude. I'm really glad that I was able to. Well, I mean, I'm not really glad that I was trans med,
right?
But I'm glad that I unlearned it and can look back at it, and it's kind of healing, like to identify those feelings. I'm going to be honest, I haven't really thought about it that critically until we had this episode, and I'm getting a little emotional about it. Yeah. Because I'm realizing now how much time I really did miss. Not being myself, because I was too busy gatekeeping being trans and thinking that I had to be. There's only one way to be trans, and I had to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean,
it's just not true.
Yeah, that's a grief. You know what I mean? Like I have that. Like I can resonate with that, with being like with a childhood, right? Like being trans, like you don't get to have a little boy childhood. You don't get to do. Your dad doesn't get to show you how to shave at 15. Like that's those are the things that you have to kind of that you mourn, right? Losing that time for sure.
Yeah.
as a trans person, and I think it helps us make this time that we have right now. That's why it's so important to be present in this time, because otherwise you will have that feeling where you regret, missing that.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, though I think that trans-medicalism is wrong, and usually it comes with it affecting other people, in that trans meds will often like attack or belittle people who they believe aren't trans. Um, just like a lot of things, I feel like the belief itself, as long as you fucking just keep your mouth shut, keep it moving, like who gives a fuck? I don't care what you think.
Yeah.
I don't care if you are trans med and think that I'm not trans. As long as you keep your mouth shut, we can still be cool. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
it's not one of those things. It's not one of those things where I feel like relationships need to break down over. It's not like, you're supporting a genocide or something,
Right. Yeah. It's different.
It's very different, right? So as long as you're one of those people who, don't let it affect how you treat other people, I think that you can sit at the table. But if you're not open and are one of those people who make it your job to police other people and like actually gatekeep the trans community, then
put people
probably
down.
You don't deserve a seat at the table.
we don't have space for that, for sure. Yeah, right. I agree. I 1,000% agree. We have to keep our spaces safe, and I feel like it's especially important to trans people, because we know what it's like for that space not to be safe. So now that we have it, we want it, and we're going to hang on to it, and I think we should maintain it, for sure, for us and for other people.
Right. Absolutely. And also, like, if as many people as like they think are transgenders, or like not actually trans, or like whatever, why you would think that like the percentage of detransitioners would be way more than it is.
Right. Yeah, it would be.
And it's just not.
Yeah, statistically.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Yeah,
we have the numbers and you're incorrect.
I'm sorry about this. Yeah, sorry. No, and that's like hard information based on research, and that's the kind of stuff that we're talking about educating, right? Is like learning new things, right. and not thinking that you are now good, like you no longer have to learn new things, because this is just the way it is, and like because everyone can grow, and no matter how old you are. So.
Right, and you being trans isn't a a reason to stop learning about being trans.
Yeah, or other people. Yeah.
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 Like, just exactly. And like do the research outside of the trans community. You know what I mean? Like look at the numbers, look at the resources, look at the history.
Yeah.
Don't look at Instagram.
Right. Yeah.
Because even though they might be an older trans person than you, they might have been transitioning longer than you, that does not mean that they are smarter than you, or that they know more than you.
It's just a different experience. Yeah, it's a completely different experience.
Yeah.
Yes. So, this was good. I felt like this was a good episode. If you guys have, like I said, questions, safe space below. Yeah. Always let us know if you guys are wanting something specific from us. We'll always answer questions. If you may ask a question, we may make a whole episode based on your question. So we will. I guess we'll just have to see you in the next one. Okay.
All right. Bye.